Ava, you racist bastard. Yet another human-oriented Diaclone set. When are you going to give some love to the Waruders? How about right now? So this is the Dark Cathode type Waruder suits. This is a two-pack. This is not a one-pack. This is a two-pack, which means there are, count them, two Waruder suits in here. Is that right? Waruder suits? Yeah. So, yeah, I actually threatened in a previous video, I threatened to get this version specifically because I was like, the red and blue version's like, okay, whatever. I mean, like, I can live with it, and that's all well and good. But, like, there's a lot of blue and a lot of red mixed up with the Diaclone side. This is a little more alien looking, so, let's go with some strange colors. Some not bold colors, because these guys are the enemy, after all. So, yes, this is the Dark Cathode type. Although, oddly, it does not say that on the box, but just trust me, it is. Actually, it does say it on the box. It says Waruder suit, dark cathode type. Along the side, which you totally can't see, it says it right there. Dark cathode type, right there. And along the opposite side as well. Whole bunch of fuzzy, out of focus 640 by 480 pictures right there. So we're going to be getting into that. And not one, but two Waruders. So, or I'm sorry, Waru droids. I guess they're called Waru droids. So we have Dionauts and Waru droids. Okay. Oh, it opens from the top. Okay. I thought it was going to open from the side. They're aliens. They do things differently. Ooh. Oh, these are so tiny. Like the box is tiny. Like I was expecting bigger. I mean, don't get me wrong. They are bigger than your average. Actually, they are bigger than a. Huh. The Waru droids. They are. Their parts are transparent. Huh. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Well, maybe I did at the time, but Do they have metal on the bottom? I'll find out in a moment. So the thing about Waruder suits is technically um, they are a powered suit. The Diaclone equivalent of a power suit. Okay. Takara Tomy, they transform exactly the same. Why would you give me two different instruction booklets for exactly the same things? Like, I don't know why. DA-26, DA-26. It's probably like name variations, and that's kind of it. Literally the only difference between them that I'm aware of is the colors and the tip of the worm pods is different. That's it. So why it is they would feel the need to do two? Yeah, that's literally the only difference. Is even though these are printed for the exact same kit, they probably have all the same. The only difference is, let's see, where is it? The end of the worm pod. I'm sorry, there's the end of the worm pod right there, and there is printed differently. That's literally the only difference. So Takara told me you don't need to give me two of these. Come on, I'm only going to be using one. Come on, we're mature adults here. We can figure this out, or are we? But before we do that, little Waruder pamphlet thingy. Oh, look, there's a bunch of backstory that I totally can't read. Hooray! So is it just showing all the different ways you can combine these things, which I will be getting to, obviously, and then the back end. I don't know. I'm guessing these are like special operations or something like that. I don't know. So, okay, that exists. So, anyways, with the Diaclone releases, with the human side or whatever it is, they get these little suits, and then there are accessory sets that you can either add onto the ones that you currently have, or you can buy them. And there's a whole bunch of them. Okay, pretty much all of those I'm not going to get just because like I'm not interested. And again, I'm not an army builder. Even this technically isn't army building. I mean, this is about as close as I get to army building. Although I'm fairly certain those 18 Bowrock over there would disagree with me. Those 18 different variations of Bowrock. No. Let's see. 6, 12, 18, 24. 24 versions of Bowrock. Well, no. 18 versions of Bowrock and one version of each of the Bowrock Ka. Or Bowrock Cal. That's what they are. Which are the Season 2 versions of them. So yeah, that's as close to arming building as I've ever gotten, and I mean ever. And Transformers don't count because Transformers do not army build, unless you're like Perceptor or not Perceptor, Reflector. You know the camera, the little hands. Unless you get like that, that's an army builder because there's all the generic stuff. Or Seekers, those are army builders. So anyways, yeah, I'm not an army builder, so. Basically, a worm pod, which I'll be getting to in a moment here, is the equivalent of a powered system suit. Okay, so what this is, you get the worm pods, which are the basic, you know, the Waruder droids go in those. That's hard to say. Waruder droids go into the worm pods, and then the worm pods do their own things. But then they have this big accessory thing that goes around them and gives the thing a lot more variety of things to do. So there are Diaclone equivalents of those. I'm just choosing not to get any of them. So that's what this is. It's the Waruder equivalent. There's a couple. I mean, there's some that I like. Some of the Diaclone accessory sets, like they get close to what I like, but then I have to remind myself how tiny these things are. Like they look interesting and they have interesting features attached to them, but they're really tiny. So I have to remind myself of that every single time. Like I want to believe that these pictures make these things out to be like 3.5 inches tall. No, they're only about that. Like this is how big I would want the power suits to be. That's how big I want them to be. Well, about 3.5 inches or whatever the equivalent is. But this is actually how big they are, and this is $50. What you're seeing is $50 minus the Dionot. Of course, Dionot's in the box, and he will remain there until further notice. So yeah, I can't justify doing it. The Waruder suits, yes, I will get those, but a bunch of these, no, just I can't do it. My brain can't process that, so I'm not even gonna mess with that. Uh-oh. I know what you're gonna do. Don't do it. What is sticking, dear God? I know what you're gonna do. Don't. There we go. And it did it anyways. Well, this seems about as good a time as any as to introduce my very first Waruder, or Waruder droid, actually is what this is. So he's semi-transparent, blue, with gray waist and gray thighs. Everything else is transparent blue. That's been painted a little bit. And it's so tiny it doesn't have functional hands. Ball and socket shoulders, ball and socket hips, and it does have an ab crunch. It does have an ab crunch. And again, the Waruder droids, much like with the Dinots, the Waruder droids will remain in the box because I just don't want to lose them. They're so tiny. These aren't even an inch tall. How big are these? I don't want to pull that out. Just trust me, it's less than an inch. So yeah, he's just gonna sit right there. And since I pulled out the blue one, let's start with the green worm pod. Actually, I take it back. These do have official names to them. So I'm looking at the official Diaclone rebuild or reboot website right now, and I'll put the link in the description. Both for the just for the site in general, and then for the dark cathode type page specifically. So anyways, I'm looking at the description, and the very first thing I see is Waruder suit Dark Flinger and Waruder suit Dark Stang. Obviously, we've got some English at work here, so clearly this is the Waruder suit Dark Stinger. I think they're meaning to say Stinger. That's what they're trying to. No, Flinger. Flinger. What are they trying to say? Dark Flinger. Because Dark Stang is obviously Dark Sting. But what is Flinger? I had it figured out earlier. I'm totally blanking on what that was. So anyways, here's a worm pod. And the tail is very flexible. And each and every one of these segments has a ball and socket joint, and that includes the very end of it as well. So you can get this into quite a number of poses. So very impressive. And then on top of that, let's do it this way. On top of that, there is a swivel joint at the base, which also has its own ball and socket joint. So anyways, this is the dark flinger type. Flinger, maybe it's like flinging. Is that what they're trying to say? Because like maybe like this is a claw, so it picks up things and it throws them or it flings them. I think that's what they're trying to say. So this is the dark flinger, which okay, that's fine. I can live with that. Dark flinger. Maybe it'd be like dark slinger. So instead of an F, put an S in there, so it'd be dark slinger type. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. So, anyways, you open up the front of the worm pod, and does this open? Yes, it does. And then you open up the bottom, and then you can stick a Waruder in there. Let's see, what direction does he face? Oh my gosh. Oh, does he? Maybe I've got this wrong. Is this time to actually open it? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I said that wrong. Okay, so it turns out that the front of the pod opens downward, and then the roof goes up. And then the Waruder droid, oh, that's cool how detailed that is. Wow. And the Waruder droid sits on it. He lays down on top of it like he's on a motorcycle. Excuse me, like leaning way out. I think those are called crotch rockets. Crotch rocket type motorcycles where you actually lean across the top of the motorcycle. Your legs are behind you. Anyways, yeah, that's what you're doing right there. So yeah, that's cool. Okay. All right, so now I've got an orientation here for how this is supposed to work. So I'll turn this around 180. Good. I can't believe that each and every one of these segments has a ball joint. That's just insane. That's crazy. You know, I think it would have been okay if it was like every other segment, so like every two segments had a ball joint. But no, each and every one of these has its own ball joint. This is ridiculous how curry that is. So that is a worm pod. And there's two of them. One comes in green, one comes in purple. Or is that violet? I can't tell. There's a pair of adapters here. I guess I better find out what that's for. It's probably for like connecting more than one Waruder suit together. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay. I may end up using... That's great. You know, I'm tempted. I am actually tempted to get the regular, the blue and the red ones, because I'm not going to get another set of cathode ray types, because like I've got one pair. Why would I want to get another one? I don't know. Consistency? I guess it's like I wanted to see what two of these would be like before I delve into more of them. So, but anyways, I was looking at the different combinations. There's one here where if you have three Waruder suits, you basically have a regular Waruder suit, and then attached to each shoulder is the other two. Are the other two? That's funny. And then there's like two arms up here and two arms down here. I want it. I want it. Yeah, okay, so I'm probably going to end up pulling two of those. Gosh, those look a lot. Those remind me of revolver joints. Really, really tiny revolver joints, and I'm terrified at this point. See, here's the actual Waruder suit. The green one, was it the green slinger? I guess is what I decided on. This is the green slinger. And it is asymmetrical, so like the front is, or one side is different from the other side, so. But the legs are effectively symmetrical. Very well done, by the way. Very well done. God, they're so tiny. Wow, I didn't realize that. Wow, holy crap. Okay, play along. There you go. I didn't realize that. Wow. I suppose they wouldn't have been able to do that. So the feet, what's known as the grappler form, although I'll get into it in a moment. The grappler form is actually like 4 different points that come together. So you've got this movement, but then you also have this movement as well. So when you pull the legs apart, you actually have 4 prongs that you have to deal with that are used for the feet. I didn't realize that. Whoa. And the entire thing turns. Yes, it does. Okay, I suspected as much. Okay. Those feet are incredibly pointy, so be very careful. Very careful. So here's kind of the first default position. That's the hammerhead form. All you do is you just take the worm pod and you slip it in through the back and it taps into place. I believe they can go all the way through. Let's see. Yep, they can. Oh, okay. So you actually can attach it from either side. So the instructions say push it through, but no, you actually can put it in either way you want to. So that's probably due to transformation, and if it goes one way, obviously it'll go the other way. Yep. So now technically the cockpit's on the back of the vehicle. But again, the bodies of a Waruder suit are symmetrical, so kind of the front and back of the torso are really the only major differences between them. The hips have obviously screws on one side and then paint on the other side, whatever. That will help you determine which side is which. So as long as you kind of keep track of that, you'll be okay. But yeah, you can insert these either direction. And they do snap. It does snap snugly into that position there. I'm not good with articulating tails. I have a ball joint on every segment. It's just going to drive me crazy. Okay, so here's the hammerhead form. And the next one is the hunter form, which is just split the legs apart and that's it. Oh my gosh, the level of detail on the inner leg. You're not going to be able to see it, but I'm going to try and show you anyways. The level of detail in there is ridiculous. Especially in the, what would this be? Does that be the thigh section? I don't know what that would be. Yeah, I guess that would be the, or no, I guess it'd be the shins on the outer edge here. The detailing in there is pretty doggone ridiculous. You'll just have to trust me. I very much doubt I'm going to find any pictures. So, oh, the way the feet or claws, they can be used as either claws or as feet. They look like they have the suckers from tentacles on them. That's clever. Like that. Okay, so that's it, really? I was expecting a little more forward and backwards. I mean, I can understand why they didn't, but I was expecting a little more. So really, all you do is you're just opening up the tail, and you give it the what's this version called? This is called the hunter form. So yeah, so it's got a pair of claws, and that's as far forward as anything goes because it's like ball joint inside of an enclosure, so it can only go forward so much. So that's about the best you're gonna get is that kind of 45-degree angle, and that's about it. Is that it? Let's see if we turn it the other way. Yeah, that's all it's gonna do. Alright. Kind of hoping it'd go a little farther, but I understand why. Just looking at the way the mechanism works, yeah, it's not gonna the I guess you could call them the elbows are not going to go any further forward than this. So that's about the best you're going to get out of that. So now there is a little bit of give at the hips, but not a lot because the ball joints in the hips are only meant for up and down motion, not forward and backwards. So they're not they're located at the shoulders, but as shoulders they cannot go forward. So okay. So that's the hunter form, and then grappler form is the humanoid thingy. I would have thought that the hips would have spread a little further wider. Oh well. So they don't spread wider. Okay. Put the arms out, and then the clawed hands Well, no, they're not they're not hands. They're two-fingered hands like this. That's impressive how they're able to get the whole arm to curl. The entire arm curls up like this when it's in storage form. That is so cool. And then, so the whole arm is curled up like this. So basically, you extend it outwards, and then you pull the shoulder down. You rotate the entire shoulder assembly. Cool. Which I already knew, but still, seeing it in person is the important part. Oh my goodness, this is so tiny. It's so tiny yet so expensive. Oh, a limitation on posability. The arms cannot, or the shoulders cannot go out to the sides, and you do not get any side-to-side elbows. So it's only going to be forward and backward. That's it. That's all you're getting. And the same thing with the claws. All that the claws do is this and this. So it's only forward and backwards action, which, I suppose that makes sense. Yeah, I was honestly hoping that the hips would have a wider stance to them. I thought they did spread wider. I guess I didn't give that much thought. What? You tell me those hips don't spread like that? No, they don't. Hmm. Okay, so the official photographs, appear, they're slightly deceptive. I thought that the hips would actually kind of swing outwards, and then you could, move them forward and backwards normal. But no, they're actually, all that they do is they just spread apart on a ball joint. If the hips is down here, all that they do is they spread apart. That's it. That's all they do. So, that's not at all what I thought it was going to be. I'm not declaring, deceptive marketing, whatever. That's not what I'm saying. Just like, okay. I don't know if I showed it yet or not. Here's the grappler form. Maybe I should grab it with my left hand. It's the grappler form. I can't turn my left wrist that way. And then you've got semi-transparent colored on the outside of the shoulder, which is the only way you can really tell the difference between them. So let's get this back into its, I guess call it hammerhead form. The hammerhead form is the default for all of the modes. So, wait, what was that? I felt that. What was that? Do his arms actually snap into place? Well, they do have kind of a tab, kind of, but I don't know if that's meant to be. Oh, it does. It kind of rectangular pegs into position when you're curling the arms back in. It kind of pegs in, kind of doesn't. So something else I forgot to do. I've already put the arms away, but the legs can only turn about 45 degrees. So the hips only go forward 45 degrees. The knees only bend 45 degrees. The most amount of articulation you're going to get is out of the feet, which you totally can't see that. So that's about the most you're going to be getting. So you can kind of make them lean forward a little bit, or you can make them kind of half-seated position, and that's it. So, I knew it was going to be kind of limiting. I just didn't realize it was going to be that limiting. Ooh, that is really tight. Hello, that's not cool. Gonna have to loosen that up. Hopefully the other one. Does it have a waist swivel? No, it does not. That's surprising. I would have thought it would. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there is a waist swivel. Okay, all right. So that's good to know. And then the last one is called the Shrieker form, which I can live with that. Just like that. Oh, the arms become legs. Ha ha ha. There goes that rain again. Bring on the rain. Oh, I guess the fingers are kind of different from each other. Okay. This looks so stupid. Well, it's not stupid. It looks in person just because it's so tiny. It's throwing me for a loop. Okay. And then here is Shrieker form. Or Shrieker, yeah, Shrieker form. That's funny. It's just kind of a dinosaur form or whatever it is. I wish these were bigger. I wish that this was like, this big. Something like that. That like it's so deceptive when you look at these things. For as posable as they are, for as expensive as they are, you'd think they'd be bigger, but no, they're not. So anyways, that is Shrieker form. Let's see how well does it balance? I don't know. Considering how flexible these things are, I guess the balancing is not an issue. Oh yeah, he balances very well. It balances very well. That's funny how the feet become the mouth, become the head. That's funny. Hmm. Okay, coolness, cool beans. Now let's get the other one out of here. Start looking at combined forms. Shit. Oh, okay, that's not bad. So I was attempting to pull out the worm pod, and turns out that the tail is attached via a peg, a little friction peg. Okay. Whew. I was like, oh god, you didn't break it straight out of the box, did you? Don't do that. Okay. So I mentioned a little bit ago I would make a compare and contrast. So here's the what's this one called? So there's like the dark flinger. Yeah, there's the dark flinger, and there's the dark stang or dark sting. So dark sting or dark slinger and dark sting. That's the difference between them. So the differences are the dark slinger, dark flinger. I guess I'm going to have to use the English names just so I don't confuse myself. The dark flinger has a, I don't know how well you can see, it has a gray painted stripe that goes down right down the center of it. It's kind of a metal bracing or whatever it is. It's not metal, but And then let's see, do they both have this? Yeah. And then the dark stang has nothing. So even though the texture on the inside, it has a oh, what's that called? It has kind of a hive. It has a honeycomb look on both the windows that have been molded in. It's just that the green slinger or flinger, the green flinger has a metal or has a painted stripe, dark gray stripe painted down the center. That's the only difference between them. And then the other difference is that the tails are molded differently. So for the dark flinger, it's a four pointed claw thingy, and then for the dark stang, there's just, I think that's supposed to be like a beam gun or something like that. And that just looks the same all the way around. There's a little, well, it might be like a drill tip or like a laser drill tip or something like that. So that might be what they're trying to aim for. So yeah, very fuzzy, I know, but still, I wanted to very much wanted to point out the difference. And then obviously the other difference between them. So that's with the worm pods specifically, and then with the Waruder suits, the difference is you've got the green, trans green on the outside there, and then you've got the trans purple on the outside of that one. So that's the difference there. My camera is not going to be showing this very well, just because I've got purple and I've got green against dark gray, so obviously these are not going to show up very well, but it's the best I can do right now. Dark Flinger and Dark Stang. But as far as I can tell, other than the tails and the cockpits, they share all other molds. So be aware, getting the worm pod into the Waruder suit the first time, you have to fight to get it in there, but it will eventually go all the way through. Just got to wear down that friction. Oh, maybe there is another difference. Oh, I'm sorry, there is a difference between them. Okay, so I was mistaken. There actually is a difference. So the green one has the gray stripe or the kind of cockpit frame that goes down the front. Okay, so then the purple version actually has a pair of like, they're not claws necessarily, but they're like metal braces that come up from the top and the bottom and also from the sides. So there's like 4 clamps. That's what they are. So instead of having a metal why do I say metal? There's no metal in these things. So instead of having a cockpit brace that goes down the center, like on the green one, on the green or the dark flinger, on the dark stank, you've got 4 clamps They're sitting on the sides and on the top as well. Oh, no, no, no! There goes both Waruders. Oh, God. There's one. Alright, let me... So I don't know how well you can see this, but you can see there's clamp on the side. Right there, that little fuzzy bit of gray. Fuzzy bit of gray there, and then there's more on the side and on the bottom. So that's the difference between them. So it doesn't have a cockpit frame in the front, but instead it's got a clamp molded in on all four sides. At least those little Revoltech or revolver joint thingies, at least those didn't disappear. God. Or those didn't drop down, because those actually would have matched up with the carpet better. Fortunately, the Waruder droids are a bit more obvious. So the blue Waruder droid goes to the green flinger, and then the orange one goes to the dark stank. Stank. I think we can go with that. And I think I am going to have to pull two of these adapters out now, which I really don't want to do, but I don't think I have a choice either. Let's see. Do I have a choice? Not really, I don't. Oh, I see. Oh, so there's two different ways to connect them. You can do it that way or that way. Wow. So right now the instructions are showing there's like a whole bunch of different ways you can combine these things with each other. I feel like there's a Diaclone Dionod equivalent where you slid something through the hole there or something like that. Feels like there is. Okay, so there's a bunch of different variations here. Boy, that's impressive how they got that together. So the first one is that you can take there's little pegs and holes on either side, and you just peg and hole. Where is it? There we go. So that's one way to hold. That's one way to hold a Waruder suit together. It's just peg them together like that. Friction is real, by the way, so you might want to work on that a bit, which I'm going to do right now. Be very careful. I suggest you be very careful because the shoulders are not meant to come off. The tail of the worm pod is the only thing that's designed to pop off. Okay. Otherwise, if anything else pops off, you're in big trouble. Okay. So just be aware of that. Okay, so that's one way to connect them together. Okay, here we go with the adapters. Oh God, they're taped into place. Oh, I don't want to do this. I really, really don't want to do this. Do I have to? God, I think I do. I mean, I know why they did it, but just... Oh, I'm not going to like this. And they're taped in place. They're taped in place. This is not going to be fun. If it was static tape, that would be something else, but I don't think... Oh, it's low tack. Oh, I don't... Obviously, I can store them directly on the Waruder pods, but still, just these are so tiny. They're actually... I mean, these are smaller... These adapters are like really, really tiny revolver joints. If you've ever dealt with a Revoltech figure, you know what I'm talking about here. Oh, God. How am I going to get these out of here? All they do is rotate. Okay, stop. Stop jumping into each hole. That's dumb. Thank you. The friction is real. These are revolver joints. I don't even know if I can show this to you. So that's what I'm having to deal with right there. That's how tiny these things are. Just... Ooh. I just hope they stay on the... Yeah, I'll probably peg these in the back and just leave them there. I don't think I'll even be able to get them out. Okay, we're working that friction. Maybe they're only meant to go in that far. Kudos if they are. Okay, that is as far as they go. Alright, so at least they were that considerate for it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. God, those are tiny. They're revolver joints, except they only work with friction. They don't have any ratcheting on them. So like revolver joints do have ratchets on them. The tiniest of the revolver joints, which are like 2 millimeter. These are like 2 millimeter revolver joints, which are like the tiniest pain in the asses. I mentioned nothing when I did the review for the Revoltech Wally back in the day for Collection DX. It was those 2 millimeter revolver joints that broke on the shoulders and on the neck of the Revoltech Wally. It broke not even a minute and a half after I got it out of the box. So like I'm 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 getting PTSD right now because like I got rid of that thing. I don't have it anymore because like I got rid of it days after I got it for free and just uh, now I've got that feeling all over again. Just God. Well, you know what? I'm only going to pull out two because I only have two. It comes in a set of four, two for each Waruder pod or Waruder suit, but I'm only going to take out two, and I'll save those as spares for much later on. So after all of that, the second way that you combine these things is you put a pair of, I want to say revolver joints so badly. I don't know what they're called, so I'm just going to call them revolver joints. Trademarks. So anyways, you take these two accessories, these little clip-on accessories. Oh, come on, turn it the right way. So you've got one there, and you've got one there. And there's a pair of holes to either side of the worm pod port, I guess. There's a pair of holes just above my fingers there, and you can see the other holes there and there. So just peg fits into slot. That's all that it is. But it can do them on the front or the back. It doesn't matter which way, or I should say the orientation of the pod or the Waruder suit. The orientation does not matter. That's what they're trying to. That's what they're trying to tell you. Which I didn't know about these adapters. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, obviously, but I didn't know that these. Oh, come on, get in there. Get in there. Of course, you can't put too much pressure on them because if you do, they'll snap. Neither one wants to go in. There's the other. Okay, yes, you really cannot force these. You just can't. So you can see here that is another way to get two Waruder suits together. And I'll bet you if I try and pull these apart, one will stay on one side and the other will stay on the other side. You know what? Don't mess with it. I can live with that. They're on both on the same side. Okay, and then something else you can do, and hopefully those adapters don't get in the way, is you can take these shoulders, or you can take the arms, and you can get rid of the adapter pegs because they get in the way, because reasons. You can take the shoulders, and you can peg them into the worm pod ports, just like that, so you can attach, you get a nice big friction joint right there. That's turning really well. What's happening here? So you can attach them in that fashion. And the other one you can do is you can take one and you can... Really? Is there a difference? I don't think there is. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. So you can attach them... See, I'm going to show this. You can attach them in this manner. Oops, there goes the waist joint. Wait, so let me see if I get this straight. I can turn it one way, but not the other, really. Okay. And then the other way. And so far, these are not official combinations that I've been doing up to this point. This is just how many different ways can you get one Waruder suit to plug into another one. That's all I'm doing right now. I haven't even got to any of the descriptive combinations here yet. It's just showing how you put them together. Because the whole point, unlike most of the, well, I mean, the Diaclone, the Dynauts, they have the ability to mix and match parts. They are designed to do that, but the Waruder suits in particular are designed to be very flexible in terms of how you can peg them together and whatnot. And the other one is you can scissors up this shit. You can have them spread the claws, the legs together, whatever it is, and then you can peg them together. Because like there's a peg on one leg, and then there's a hole on the other leg, so you can attach them that way. So there's just a bunch of different ways you can put these together. You see, there's a peg right there, and then there's a hole. There's no equivalent hole, right? Yeah. So there's a hole there, and there's a peg right there. And so if it's the same on the, so obviously you can't decide which one goes in which way. You have to put them in the same direction, or else it won't work. Okay, so with all of those out of the way, now we'll get to some actual combinations. Now there's only two listed here. It gives a list of, or it just gives examples of what you can do with two Waruder pods, with three Waruder pods, or even with four. I think the largest combination is like 6 or 8 when in one of the videos. Anyways, so here's all the different ways that they combine with each other. It's not until you get to here where they start talking about how you actually combine them together into actual modes. This is just the different ways that you can play with them. Play. But here's where they start talking about actual modes. So this is, if you have two Waruder pods, you can do this. If you've got 3, you can make these 2 combinations. If you've got 4, you can do this, and so on down the line. So, but obviously I only have the 2, so okay, so getting into actual combinations. Oh, they want you. It's not just for safety reasons. I was mistaken. I thought it was for safety reasons only. No, it turns out it's not. They actually want you to be able to take off the tails. Because you can peg them into the holes on the sides of the shoulders. Okay, which I can live with that. Right. This first combo was so dumb. Boy, these feet are so pointed. They're so sharp. Like Takara Tomy, I know they're the aliens and they're meant to be threatening, but like, can we tone that down a little? Oh, this is gonna be so stupid. Yeah, in fact, you remember how I was contrasting earlier with the 2 different worm pods? And I was like, why did they make duplicate instructions when they're exactly the same? Well, the reason for that is they show the way the instructions are printed. These probably don't even say, well, yeah, I think they do say dark cathode in like Japanese here. Oh, I guess they are like slightly different. The only difference is like the shape of the tails, and that's it. And then I think like the names of them are probably different somehow. Yeah, so I mean, to be fair, the dark cathode types, or the dark cathode set is, why did I put them both away? Is these are both just repaints. The red and blue versions use the same molds. It's the colors that are the only difference between them. That is really tight, and it is tight no more. And my wrist still hurts. Yes, another month has gone by and my wrist still hurts. I'm starting to wonder if I should go to the doctor for that. I'm not opposed to going to a doctor, but like, is it really necessary for me to go? Peg the shoulders together, and we get the first recommended combined form, whatever the hell this thing is supposed to be. So it's a pair of pods with a pair of legs. This reminds me of something from. Unfortunately, it reminds me of something from the upcoming. What's it called? Evangelion 1.0 plus 3.0, and I don't know what the rest of the title is called. The fourth and final rebuild of Evangelion movie that we don't have an international name for it yet, but yeah. Anyways, this reminds me of that thing. So okay, okay. Joints are so flippin' tight in the ankles, and it's really sharp right there. Why would you do that? Oh, guess what little adapters I get to use now. Hooray. That reminds me when or one of my nephews from my brother-in-law's side of the family came over and I showed him. He was only like 6 or 7 at the time that I showed him. So I showed him a commercial of the Waruders in action against the Diaclone, and he said that just judging by the shape of these kind of claw, kind of pale gray claw thingies or whatever it is, he said they were cat scorpions, which is totally appropriate. Or they're cats mixed with scorpion, scorpion, cat, scorpion. He said something to that effect. So good kid, good kid. You want me to what now? Oh, I forgot to fold out the legs or the arms. I don't know. They're kind of interchangeable names at this point. Gosh, it's so damn clever how the legs fold out of there. God, that's tight. Holy shit. It's tight and it's sharp. That's not cool. And off the top of my head, no, I don't know which color. I think like it could either be the one with the worm pod with the vertical frame. That might be based on the red one. And then the one with the clamps is blue, or it could be the other way around. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. Oh, they're both the same. You want me to what? Oh, okay. Did I put that in backwards? Or will there be enough room? There will not be enough room. Okay, so for this worm pod, oh god, I have to take this apart. I had so much fun putting them together. So it turns out the worm pod that's on the back side of this particular combination, you actually have to flip the cockpit around so it's facing forward. It actually does make a difference. Oh, because it fills out the waist. Okay, all right, that makes sense to a degree. All right, I can live with that. Okay, I took all this time to pull you two apart. Now get back in there. God, these adapters are so tiny. I'm terrified of them. I can already feel the other side snapped into place. It's this one. Oh no. That actually is cool how they have the cockpit filling out the waist. That is clever. I do like that. Plug the tails into those holes on either side of the worm pod cockpit. Or, yeah, I guess it would be canopy, I guess. Oh, that took a bit of effort. But then here's the other combined form, which is very much a thing. It's a thing. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. Some sort of weird ass animal. It's an alien animal? Something like that, so. I don't know what it is. Yep. And you can see at the waist, you can see on the camera the what is it? The violet, the purple in the waist. That's the cockpit because you can see the cockpit of the worm pod is facing forward. So now the example given here, very clearly the CGI, the 3D models that they use for the instructions, it's the green. What's it called? The slinger, I think it's called the dark slinger. It's the dark slinger color, but obviously it doesn't really matter which one's on the front, which one's on the back. I just kind of went with the one that matched up with the instructions just from my first time. Um, these are so weird. So, alright, there's a pair of Waruders. I still really want to get my hands on, what's it called? The Gigantor, whatever it is. I still want that thing. There's another one that cropped up that's kind of about the same size as this, and it basically does an arm swap with a Gigantor, whatever it is. I'm not gonna get that one. Just like I'm not interested. And then there's kind of a raptor lizard looking thing. I'm not gonna get that one either. There's a flying one that has actual wings on it. I'm not gonna get that one. So really, at this point, all I want is like Waruder suits and then that thing. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna be aiming for at this point. Kind of disappointing in some of the posability options, but otherwise, yeah, I got pretty much what I paid for. And again, I'll emphasize these are really small. They're really small. So be aware. I think I paid like $70 for a combined pair, but if you get just one by itself, it's like I think it's $50 just for one by itself, something like that. So be aware. Don't be fooled by the photographs. We're dealing with some really, really tiny figures here. So be aware of that. So even though this whole thing is $70 minus the other adapters and both of the Waruder droids, um, just be aware that these things are expensive for the size that you're working with. These things are very expensive. Uh, I don't know. I might get the red and blue ones just to say I have. I'm like I said at the beginning, I'm not an army builder, but I might get them. Like now that I've experienced this, like okay, yeah, I enjoy these. Now that I've done like okay, yeah, I could see myself getting the other ones at this point. So, but how far away that's going to be, I don't know. It's probably going to be a while. I've got some expensive stuff coming up here soon. Cool. Okay. I'm obviously not going to get this out like tomorrow. I might not get this out to tomorrow, but like it'll probably be like a day or so before I get this out. Not that I need to tell you that. Not that it really matters. Just be aware. Yes, I did record this on my 38th birthday, so I might do some more today. I'm not sure. Maybe today or tomorrow. I don't know. Either ways, this is AV Unit 4A saying thank you for tuning in. I'm sitting off to the side. Whatever.